When we talk about staying consistent, everything begins with clarity of vision. Clarity of vision is not just knowing what you want on a surface level. It is a deep, intimate understanding of the life you desire, the person you want to become, and the values that guide your actions. Without this clarity, you are like a ship adrift at sea, constantly pushed and pulled by the winds of circumstance, influenced by the opinions of others, and often feeling lost and frustrated. Clarity of vision acts as a magnetic force, drawing you toward your goals and giving you a reason to persevere when the journey feels long or challenging. It is the anchor that keeps your mind focused and your actions aligned, ensuring that every step you take, no matter how small, contributes to the bigger picture. When you have clarity of vision, you begin to see life differently. Ordinary tasks take on meaning because you understand how they fit into the grander scheme of your growth. Even mundane actions, when performed with purpose, become stepping stones toward your dream. Clarity allows you to distinguish between what is essential and what is merely a distraction, preventing you from wasting energy on things that do not serve your highest good. It gives you a lens through which you can evaluate opportunities, decisions, and relationships, ensuring that everything you engage with moves you closer to your ideal future. This is why people who achieve remarkable consistency and success often have a very clear image of what they want to achieve. They know precisely what success looks like for them, what it feels like, and why it matters. Clarity of vision also creates an emotional connection to your goals. When your mind and heart are aligned, your actions are no longer mechanical or forced. They become motivated by a sense of purpose. This emotional connection is crucial because consistency is rarely maintained through sheer willpower alone. Willpower is finite, and motivation fluctuates, but a compelling vision rooted in clarity provides a deeper, unwavering drive that transcends temporary challenges. When you are clear about what you want, setbacks no longer feel like failures, but as necessary adjustments on the path toward your ultimate destination. You begin to view obstacles as signals guiding you, lessons teaching you, and opportunities refining you. Furthermore, clarity of vision eliminates internal conflict and indecision. Many people struggle with consistency because they are unclear about what truly matters to them. They set goals based on what others expect, societal norms, or fleeting desires, and then wonder why they cannot maintain focus. When your vision is clear, you develop an internal compass that directs your choices, making it easier to say no to distractions and yes to actions that align with your purpose. This inner alignment reduces the mental friction that often drains energy and diminishes follow-through. It allows your mind to operate efficiently, focusing on solutions instead of being consumed by confusion or doubt, and creating a natural rhythm of disciplined action. Clarity of vision is not static. It is a living, evolving understanding of your life's purpose and aspirations. As you grow, your clarity deepens, your vision becomes more vivid, and your sense of direction becomes sharper. Writing down your vision, creating mental pictures, and articulating your desired outcomes are practical ways to strengthen this clarity. Visualization, for example, engages your subconscious mind, reinforcing your goals and training your mind to recognize opportunities that support your vision. Affirmations and reflective journaling further embed your clarity into your daily life, making it an ever-present force, guiding your decisions, your focus, and your energy. When you commit to developing clarity of vision, you begin to notice that consistency becomes less of a struggle and more of a natural byproduct. Your actions are no longer scattered or random. They are deliberate, targeted, and effective. You start to understand the importance of pacing yourself, creating routines, and building habits that serve your vision rather than being swayed by short-term impulses. Your environment begins to matter more because clarity teaches you to surround yourself with people, resources, and circumstances that reinforce your goals. You become proactive rather than reactive, creating a life in which consistency is not forced but flows naturally from a mind and heart that are aligned with a clearly defined purpose. Commitment to yourself is one of the most powerful forces that determines whether you achieve the level of consistency required to create the life you truly desire. This commitment is not about making promises to others or seeking validation from the world around you. It is about making a sacred promise to yourself, a declaration that no matter what challenges arise, no matter how tempting distractions become, you will remain true to your path and honor the goals you have set. When you commit to yourself fully, a remarkable transformation begins to take place because your actions are no longer governed by fleeting motivation or external pressure, but by an unwavering internal resolve. This level of commitment becomes the backbone of consistency because it turns every choice, every action, and every decision into a conscious alignment with your personal mission. Many people fail to stay consistent not because they lack ability, knowledge, or even time, but because they have never developed a deep personal commitment to themselves. They drift from one goal to another, constantly influenced by others' opinions, circumstances, or temporary emotions. Without commitment, consistency becomes fragile, dependent on the ups and downs of motivation and willpower, and easily broken by setbacks or fatigue. Commitment to yourself creates a mental and emotional contract that cannot be broken because it is rooted in respect for your own potential and belief in your own worthiness. It is about understanding that your dreams, your growth, and your happiness deserve your unwavering attention and dedication, and that you are fully capable of following through on your intentions. This commitment is cultivated through repeated acts of self-discipline and intentionality. It begins with small choices, the everyday decisions that might seem insignificant in the moment, but when added together, define your character and determine your trajectory. When you make a choice to wake up early, to take care of your health, to read, to work on your goals, even when you do not feel like it, you are actively committing to yourself. Each act reinforces the bond between your mind, your heart, and your higher vision, strengthening your ability to remain consistent over time. Commitment is not passive, it is demonstrated through action. And the more you act in alignment with your goals, the more your commitment deepens. Part of this commitment involves embracing accountability to yourself. Many people are quick to commit to others, promising attendance, results, or loyalty, but when it comes to personal goals, they hesitate or procrastinate. True commitment requires holding yourself accountable in the same way you would honor a promise to someone else. This means tracking your progress, evaluating your actions, reflecting honestly on your successes and shortcomings, and making adjustments when necessary. It is not about judgment or self-criticism, but about cultivating honesty and responsibility toward yourself. Accountability transforms commitment into a living, breathing practice, reinforcing consistency by keeping you aware, engaged, and aligned with your own standards. Another critical aspect of committing to yourself is prioritizing your time and energy in a way that consistently supports your personal growth and goals. When you commit to yourself, you understand that time is your most valuable resource and you protect it fiercely. You learn to say no to activities, people, and influences that drain your energy or distract you from your path. You begin to design your life in a way that maximizes focus, minimizes unnecessary stress, and creates a stable environment for growth. This self-prioritization is not selfish. It is a recognition that your best self can only emerge when you honor your commitments to yourself, and that consistency flows naturally from living in alignment with your own priorities. Commitment also involves resilience and perseverance. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and temptations that can derail your focus and consistency. But when you have made a firm commitment to yourself, you develop an internal strength that enables you to rise above these obstacles. Challenges become tests of your dedication rather than reasons to quit. You begin to see difficulties as temporary deviations rather than permanent failures. And you maintain your course because you have promised yourself that your vision, your growth, and your purpose matter more than any temporary discomfort. This resilience reinforces consistency because it teaches your mind and body to rely on discipline rather than fleeting feelings, creating an unbreakable cycle of trust between your intention and your action. Ultimately, commitment to yourself transforms your relationship with your goals and your actions. It removes the question of whether you will take action and replaces it with certainty that you will follow through. It makes consistency effortless in many ways because your actions are guided by an internal standard that is unwavering. You no longer wait for motivation or external approval. Instead, your dedication becomes a natural expression of self-respect, self-belief, and the understanding that your life is your responsibility, and your success begins with the promises you make to yourself. Small daily actions are the invisible threads that weave the fabric of consistency, and they are the true foundation of lasting success. While grand gestures, sudden breakthroughs, or overnight transformations are often glorified in stories of achievement, the reality is that meaningful progress is built on the accumulation of countless small, intentional steps taken every single day. These actions might seem insignificant when viewed individually, but over time, they compound to create extraordinary results, forming habits that define your character, your discipline, and ultimately, your destiny. The power of small daily actions lies in their ability to turn intentions into reality, to translate dreams into tangible outcomes, and to transform ordinary routines into unstoppable momentum. The first step in harnessing the power of small daily actions is understanding that consistency is not dependent on intensity but on regularity. Many people believe that achieving their goals requires massive effort or monumental acts, and when they fail to produce immediate results, they become discouraged and abandon their pursuits. What they fail to recognize is that small, steady actions repeated consistently over time generate compounding growth. For example, dedicating just 30 minutes a day to learning a new skill, improving your health, or developing a mindset habit may seem minor at first, but after weeks, months, and years, the cumulative effect is transformational. These daily investments in yourself create a foundation so solid that even unforeseen challenges cannot shake your progress. Small daily actions also create a sense of momentum that fuels further consistency. When you take deliberate steps each day, you build confidence and trust in yourself because your actions prove to your mind that you are capable of following through. Momentum is a powerful force. It reduces friction, increases energy, and makes the next step feel easier. This is why routines are so effective. They automate consistency, making it a natural part of your life rather than a constant struggle. By committing to small actions daily, you train your mind to expect progress and to align your habits with your vision, creating an environment where discipline is the default rather than the exception. Another critical aspect of small daily actions is their ability to make large goals manageable and less intimidating. Big ambitions, such as financial independence, fitness transformation, or mastering a craft, often feel overwhelming when viewed as a single endpoint. However, when broken down into consistent small steps, they become achievable. By focusing on what you can do today, rather than worrying about the entire journey, you remove fear, procrastination, and overwhelm. Each small action becomes a building block, and the accumulation of these blocks over time constructs the structure of your success. Consistency thrives when goals are approached incrementally because your mind sees progress regularly, reinforcing belief and commitment. Small daily actions also reinforce discipline and mental resilience. Discipline is not a switch that can be turned on and off. It is cultivated through repetition and habitual practice. Each time you follow through on a small task, despite fatigue, distraction, or resistance, you strengthen the neural pathways associated with focus, determination, and self-control. Over time, your brain learns to anticipate action rather than hesitation, creating a habit loop where consistency becomes almost automatic. These tiny victories over inertia build character, sharpen willpower, and create an internal standard for performance that naturally extends into all areas of your life. Consistency through small daily actions also ensures adaptability and progress in the face of setbacks. Life is unpredictable, and there will always be days when circumstances make grand gestures impossible. By committing to small actions, you create a buffer that allows you to maintain forward momentum even under less than ideal conditions. Writing for 15 minutes, exercising for 10, or reviewing your goals every day might seem trivial, but these actions prevent stagnation, keep your mind engaged, and ensure that no day is wasted. Over time, these small efforts accumulate into a compounding effect that drives long-term achievement, proving that consistency is less about perfection and more about persistence. Finally, small daily actions cultivate a sense of mastery and purpose. By focusing on what you can control each day, you align your efforts with your vision in a tangible way. You begin to understand the power of incremental improvement, the significance of attention to detail, and the value of disciplined practice. Each small action repeated consistently signals to your subconscious mind that you are serious about your goals, strengthening belief, reinforcing habits, and creating a self-reinforcing cycle of growth. The journey becomes less about chasing distant outcomes and more about showing up, doing the work, and allowing your compounded efforts to transform your life, shaping not only your results but also your identity. Mastering your mindset is the cornerstone of staying consistent and achieving the life you desire, because every action begins with a thought, and every habit begins with a decision. Your mind is the control center of your life. It determines how you perceive challenges, opportunities, and setbacks. Without control over your thoughts and emotions, even the clearest goals, strongest commitment, and most disciplined daily actions can falter. Mastering your mindset means learning to direct your thoughts intentionally, to replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones, and to cultivate a mental environment that naturally supports consistency. It is the conscious effort to shape your internal world so that it aligns with your external ambitions, allowing your actions to flow effortlessly from a foundation of clarity, purpose, and self-belief. The first step in mastering your mindset is becoming aware of the thoughts you allow to dominate your mental landscape. Many people go through life on autopilot, unconsciously repeating patterns of doubt, fear, and negativity. These thoughts act like invisible anchors, holding you back from consistent action because they convince you that you are not capable, that the circumstances are too difficult, or that success is somehow out of reach. Awareness allows you to catch these thoughts before they take root, giving you the power to question them, challenge them, and replace them with perspectives that empower rather than limit. This mental discipline forms the foundation of consistency because it prevents your mind from sabotaging your efforts before you even begin. Another crucial aspect of mastering your mindset is developing belief in your ability to achieve what you set out to do. Consistency is meaningless without faith in your capacity to succeed. When your mind is filled with self-doubt, procrastination and distraction find fertile ground. But when you cultivate belief through affirmations, visualization, and repeated focus on your goals, you create a mental environment in which action is inevitable. Belief transforms obstacles into opportunities, difficulties into lessons, and setbacks into temporary pauses rather than permanent defeats. It allows you to approach each day with confidence, knowing that your consistent actions are building toward a future that you are fully capable of achieving. Mastering your mindset also requires understanding the role of focus and attention. Your thoughts are like seeds, and what you water grows. If your attention is scattered on fear, worry, or external distractions, those areas of your life will grow while your goals remain stagnant. Consistent focus on your priorities ensures that your energy is directed toward meaningful progress rather than wasted on trivial concerns. Techniques such as goal visualization, daily reflection, and setting clear intentions each morning help train your mind to prioritize what truly matters, reinforcing habits of action that align with your vision. Over time, focused attention becomes a natural part of your mental process, making consistency a built-in feature of your approach to life. Equally important in mastering your mindset is the ability to manage emotional responses to challenges and setbacks. Life is unpredictable, and every journey toward consistency will encounter resistance, disappointment, and failure. A mastered mindset does not eliminate these experiences, but equips you to respond in a way that maintains your momentum. By cultivating emotional resilience, you learn to see setbacks as feedback rather than defeat, to approach challenges with curiosity rather than fear, and to maintain a steady course even when circumstances are difficult. This emotional control ensures that temporary frustration or discouragement does not derail the habits, routines, and actions you have committed to, creating an unshakable foundation for long-term consistency. Mindset mastery also involves consciously replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones. Limiting beliefs are those internal narratives that tell you, "I can't," "it's too hard," or "I don't deserve it." They may have been formed through past experiences, societal conditioning, or comparisons to others, but they do not define your potential. Rewriting these beliefs through consistent self-talk, affirmations, and repeated focus on your desired outcomes reshapes the way your subconscious mind operates, allowing you to act with confidence and clarity. When your mind believes in your capability, your actions naturally become more consistent because doubt no longer interrupts your momentum and hesitation is replaced with decisive, deliberate effort. Finally, mastering your mindset creates alignment between your thoughts, emotions, and actions. It allows you to take full responsibility for your life, recognizing that your results are the product of your internal state rather than external circumstances. When your mindset is disciplined, positive, and resilient, consistency is no longer a struggle. It becomes a natural reflection of the way you think and feel. You develop the ability to maintain your routines, pursue your goals, and stay committed to your vision regardless of obstacles, setbacks, or distractions. This mental mastery transforms every thought into fuel for action, every challenge into an opportunity for growth, and every day into a stepping stone toward a life of purpose, achievement, and unwavering consistency. Accountability and reflection are essential pillars for staying consistent and ensuring that the effort you put into your life aligns with the outcomes you desire. Without accountability, even the clearest vision, strongest commitment, and most disciplined daily actions can lose their effectiveness because there is no mechanism to measure progress, correct course, or reinforce responsibility to yourself. Accountability begins with owning your actions, your decisions, and the results that stem from them. It is the practice of looking at your life honestly, without excuses, and recognizing that every choice you make contributes to either your success or your stagnation. By holding yourself accountable, you transform consistency from a vague aspiration into a concrete, measurable practice because every day becomes an opportunity to evaluate, adjust, and recommit to your goals. Reflection is the companion to accountability. It allows you to examine your actions, identify patterns, and gain insight into what is working and what needs improvement. Many people act without reflection, moving through life reactively, repeating the same mistakes, and assuming that effort alone will eventually produce results. Reflection ensures that your effort is intentional and guided by awareness rather than habit alone. By taking time regularly to review your actions, assess progress toward your vision, and evaluate whether your routines align with your long-term goals, you create a feedback loop that sharpens focus and reinforces consistency. It is through reflection that small daily actions are optimized, mistakes are corrected before they compound, and your commitment to yourself is strengthened. Accountability to yourself begins with clear standards and expectations. When you set measurable goals and define the behaviors required to achieve them, you create a framework against which you can evaluate your actions. This framework eliminates ambiguity and excuses because it provides a clear reference point for your performance. For example, if your goal is to improve your health, accountability might involve tracking your workouts, monitoring your nutrition, and logging progress weekly. If your goal is personal development, it might include reading a set number of pages per day, journaling your reflections, or practicing new skills consistently. By measuring your actions against these standards, you hold yourself responsible in a tangible, practical way, turning abstract aspirations into actionable steps. Reflection also strengthens self-awareness, which is critical for consistency. By honestly evaluating your successes and shortcomings, you gain a deeper understanding of your strengths, weaknesses, and habits. This self-awareness enables you to identify patterns that either support or hinder your progress, allowing you to make informed adjustments rather than repeating ineffective behaviors. Reflection also fosters humility and adaptability, teaching you to embrace mistakes as opportunities to learn rather than as reasons to give up. It creates a mindset in which growth is continuous and consistency is maintained because each reflection reinforces your commitment to improvement and excellence. External accountability can also amplify your consistency, but the most powerful form of accountability comes from within. While mentors, coaches, or supportive peers can provide guidance and motivation, the ultimate responsibility lies with you. When you develop a strong internal sense of accountability, your actions are driven by personal integrity rather than external pressure. You no longer rely on temporary motivation or external reminders because your own commitment and self-respect demand follow-through. This internal accountability is what separates those who achieve lasting consistency from those who falter after initial enthusiasm fades. Incorporating regular reflection into your routine enhances internal accountability by creating structured moments to assess your alignment with your goals. Reflection can take many forms: journaling, meditative contemplation, reviewing your calendar, or evaluating weekly accomplishments and challenges. The key is consistency in the reflection process itself. By making it a habitual practice, you create a rhythm that keeps your actions intentional and your progress visible. Each reflection reinforces your understanding of what actions produce results and what habits require adjustment, ensuring that your daily effort compounds effectively over time. Accountability and reflection also work together to build resilience in the face of challenges. When setbacks occur, the natural response is often discouragement or avoidance. However, a disciplined approach to accountability and reflection teaches you to view these moments as opportunities to learn and adjust. By analyzing what went wrong, identifying the lessons, and creating a plan to correct course, you prevent temporary failures from derailing your consistency. Each cycle of reflection and accountability strengthens your confidence, reinforces your commitment to your goals, and ensures that progress continues even when external circumstances are difficult or unpredictable. Ultimately, accountability and reflection transform consistency from a hopeful intention into a deliberate, actionable process. They create a structure in which your vision, your commitment, and your daily actions are continuously aligned, monitored, and improved. Through honest assessment, disciplined tracking, and thoughtful analysis, you reinforce habits of responsibility, sharpen your focus, and maintain momentum. Consistency becomes not just a matter of willpower or effort, but a practiced, measurable, and evolving discipline that grows stronger with each reflection, ensuring that your actions are always moving you closer to the life you are determined to create. Resilience over motivation is the secret to maintaining consistency because motivation is fleeting and unreliable, while resilience is a lasting inner strength that carries you through challenges, setbacks, and periods of low energy or enthusiasm. Motivation often depends on external circumstances, emotional highs, or a temporary spark of inspiration, and it can disappear as quickly as it arrives. People who rely solely on motivation will inevitably experience inconsistency because life inevitably presents days when enthusiasm wanes, obstacles appear, and distractions abound. Resilience, on the other hand, is cultivated from within. It is the steadfast determination to continue moving forward regardless of how you feel or what external conditions exist. It becomes the engine that drives consistent action even when motivation is absent, ensuring that your goals remain a priority and that your daily efforts accumulate into meaningful progress over time. Developing resilience begins with a shift in perspective, understanding that challenges and failures are not signs of inadequacy but opportunities to grow stronger and wiser. Life will always test your patience, your commitment, and your focus, and those tests are inevitable. Resilience allows you to face these tests with courage rather than fear, viewing each obstacle as a chance to learn, adapt, and improve. This mindset transforms setbacks into stepping stones, creating a cycle in which difficulties strengthen your discipline rather than weaken it. Each time you confront adversity and continue your consistent actions despite discomfort, your mental and emotional resilience grows, making it easier to persevere when future challenges arise. Resilience over motivation also means creating systems and habits that do not rely on emotional states. Motivation can inspire you to start, but habits and discipline ensure that you continue. When your daily routines and practices are structured and ingrained, they provide a framework that supports consistent action, even on days when you feel tired, uninspired, or distracted. For example, waking up at a set time, dedicating specific hours to your personal growth, or maintaining a consistent practice of learning and self-improvement ensures that progress continues regardless of emotional fluctuations. Resilience reinforces these systems because it emphasizes commitment over feelings, persistence over convenience, and long-term growth over immediate gratification. An essential aspect of resilience is the ability to manage discomfort and push through temporary resistance. Consistency often requires doing things that are uncomfortable, inconvenient, or challenging. It requires showing up when you do not feel like it, persisting through tedious routines, and taking action despite fear or self-doubt. Motivation cannot reliably sustain these actions because it is conditional and often short-lived. Resilience, however, is cultivated by repeatedly choosing to act in alignment with your goals, regardless of how you feel. Each act of perseverance strengthens your mental fortitude, builds confidence, and reinforces the habit of showing up consistently, creating a self-reinforcing loop that makes future challenges easier to navigate. Resilience also involves reframing failure and setbacks in a constructive way. Many people give up because they interpret obstacles as permanent barriers or personal shortcomings. Resilient individuals understand that setbacks are temporary, necessary parts of the growth process. They analyze what went wrong, extract lessons, and use those lessons to improve future performance. By approaching challenges in this way, consistency becomes less about avoiding failure and more about maintaining forward momentum despite it. Each failure becomes a tool for refinement, each obstacle a training ground for discipline, and each moment of discomfort a step toward mastery. This mindset transforms the unpredictable nature of life into a series of opportunities to strengthen your resolve and commitment to yourself. Resilience over motivation also encourages long-term thinking and delayed gratification. Motivation is often tied to immediate results or rewards, but true success requires patience and the ability to work consistently toward goals that may not yield instant outcomes. Resilience allows you to focus on the bigger picture, to recognize that the compounded effects of consistent action will eventually produce extraordinary results. It trains your mind to prioritize lasting progress over temporary comfort, to invest energy today for outcomes tomorrow, and to persist when short-term gratification is tempting. This perspective ensures that your consistency is not dependent on emotional highs, but is grounded in purpose, discipline, and vision. Ultimately, cultivating resilience over motivation transforms the way you approach your goals and your life. It allows you to move beyond reliance on fleeting feelings, creating a steadfast inner strength that supports continuous action, unwavering commitment, and the ability to endure any challenge. Resilience ensures that your consistency is sustainable because it is not conditional. It does not depend on mood, circumstances, or external validation. It is forged through repeated effort, disciplined practice, and the conscious decision to persevere in the face of obstacles. By prioritizing resilience, you develop the inner resources necessary to maintain momentum, honor your commitments to yourself, and achieve the long-term success that only consistent action can produce.